it, man. I'm here for it.
Hello, everybody. How the fuck are you? This is Real Men Talk Shit, and holy shit, it's been way too fucking long since I had this mic in my face, and I have a lot to fucking say. We got Cory Kastle back on, one of my favorite fucking guests. We sat here and bullshitted for way too fucking long about random ass shit last time. He's a professional wrestler. He's a comedian. He does a whole bunch of shit for TV and movies and all that shit. He's one of the coolest fucking people on the internet, so make sure to go check out his shit. His podcast is behind him. And there will be links down in the description below for anybody who wants to check out his shit. He's a good fucking dude. We do have some fucking ads, though. So, first off, I'm going to give you the new fucking ad because I think this is cool as shit, especially because every fucking man deals with this shit at some point because you get fucking depressed and your dick stops working. Make sure to go check out BlueChew.com. There will be a link down in the description below. I don't even know what the fuck it gives you. I think it gives you a free shipment of it, which is, if you actually bought Viagra or Cialis, it's like fucking $300 worth of just free stuff they send to your fucking door. And it's completely discreet. They send it in a black package and it's like, here's your shit and try it because it fucking works. It gives you the confidence that you may or may not have right now because you feel like shit. You're fucking depressed and nothing fucking works because you're so far in your head or in your ass. Who knows? I'm not judging anybody. But you're so far in your own head that it doesn't want to fucking work. Go check out Blue Chew. They are one of the greatest fucking things in the world.
Well, I think that one of the cool things about Blue Chew, I'll help you on this ad here. I think one of the cool things about Blue Chew is you don't actually have to have erectile dysfunction to enjoy Blue Chew.
It just gives you extra function. Yes, we'll use the corny ass line every other podcast uses. It just makes you feel like everything's going to fucking be okay. And holy fucking shit, fucking too much information. So whatever family's fucking watching this, click off. That shit fucking works for like 18 hours. You're walking around and your dick just doesn't go. It just stays there. It's like, what the fuck is going on here?
I haven't taken the plunge myself, but one of my best friends told me about when he first started dating the woman who he now lives with. He was like, she told me I could do anything. So what I did was I got myself a promo pack of Blue Chew, and I was like, all right, I guess I got to stay hard so I can do anything I want.
He went to promo code for Real Men Talk Shit, obviously, because that's the only fucking promo code that works ever. It is linked down in the description below. Make sure if you're feeling even a little bit of self-confidence or anything wrong with like that shit, make sure to try it because it will make you feel better. I don't know why, but it clicks in your fucking head and it fucking works. And it's just like, yeah, I feel fucking fantastic. You go from feeling like fucking a piece of shit 13-year-old who's extremely emotional and sad to feeling like a 27-year-old porn star that's been having sex for the past 6 hours, and there is no fucking in between. You just feel fucking fantastic.
So what a blur. What a blur.
Exactly. You go from the shittiest part of your life to the best part of your life, and there's no fucking in between. So go check out Blue Chew. The link down in the description below. Because,
you're going to win an award for this amazing ad read.
Yeah, I know. Just talk about it for 5 minutes and it fucking works. Also, everybody has been fucking winning money right now through Robinhood because they're investing in cryptocurrency. I got black shit all over my hand. I don't even know where the hell that came from. And everybody has been making money off Dogecoin, Ethereum, any kind of crypto right now. So if you guys are not on Robinhood, there is a link down in the description below. I will completely tell you exactly what it gives me. It gives me 3 free stocks that I will be selling and putting into cryptocurrency. And it gives you free stocks as well. And it can be anywhere in between a couple dollars to 500. So make sure if you do want free money, click the fucking link down below. Don't be a dick. Because who wants to leave free money on the fucking table? Man, even if you just fucking click the link, add your bank account, and fucking withdraw the money. Don't be a douchebag. Free money is free money.
Now I gotta make sure I do that.
Have you been investing in any crypto, bud?
I have not. I've not joined the cult of crypto.
It's so crazy. It's just sitting there watching.
That's going to be my new podcast.
The Cult of Crypto.
The Cult of Crypto.
I got fucking oil on my hands from.
Yeah, I noticed it. I don't know. I
don't even know where the fuck it came from.
No judgment, man. No judgment at all.
Yeah, I was checking my oil. You know, happens. I was on some Blue Chew. You know,
stuff gets nuts when you get some chews in you.
Exactly, it gets a little too nuts.
Well, if they say there's no laws with the claws when they talk about White Claw.
So I've been investing.
There's no ruse with the chews.
I've been investing in Dogcoin since it was at fucking 7 cents, and now it's at 40. Well, now it's back down off 40, but it was at 40 for a good fucking 3 days, and it was the greatest feeling in the fucking world. And then when it fell off of 40, I felt like shit. Because goddamn, it was the greatest adrenaline rush watching it just spike. And then all of a sudden it just had the asshole fall out of it. And it's just like down the fucking toilet right now. But because of Elon Musk and everybody else, they're talking about it going to $2 to $3. And 2 weeks ago, it was single pennies per coin. Now they're talking dollars per coin. You know, that's 100%. 1,000%. It's kind of a nice of an investment right there.
Sometimes I get it's some of my sped training, my special ed training.
Yeah.
From when I was a boy. Whenever people start talking about math, I just stop paying attention. It's like my triggers.
I had that same problem. My mom always named me Ed as my middle name. Mm-hmm. And I looked at her when I was older and I was like, you know, why the fuck did you do that? She's like, I don't know. I said, well, I came up with an answer. And she's like, what? I said, well, you've always told me I'm special and I must be a snowflake. So I have to be special ed then because I'm also retarded. And just killed. And I found it. It's some weird ass shit on my fucking desk that I have no idea where it fucking came from. And I stuck my thumb in it. And I'm kind of grossed out because I don't know what the fuck it is.
You just wipe it on your pants. You'll be fine.
They're camo. It'll just go away. Make sure to check out the merch. There's going to be new stuff coming. I got this iPad. Now I can actually design things with my hands instead of using a mouse. So I'm going to be designing some stuff more like my tattoos and stuff like that, which should be super, super fucking cool. I'm going to be designing some cool ass shit. So make sure to check that out, maybe weekly. And I'll probably talk about it next week if I actually release something. And the logo might be changed on the Facebook page just to kind of show you guys, hey, it changed. Go check out the shit because it's going to be cool as fuck.
Well, I mean, those kind of changes are cool when you kind of have a hiatus a little bit in your creation of content.
Yeah.
So if there's a little bit of a hiatus, you come back with the reinvigorated, rebooted sort of sense of this is what the normal is now.
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to just like revamp it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of this tattoo style called like trash polka?
Nope.
It's like a mixture of black and gray with like, you remember the shitty ass color filter from like 2009 where they would add like one color out of the entire fucking
like Sin City.
Yeah, like it'll just be like color pop. It'll have like a bunch of blue or a bunch of red or whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like that's what my tattoos are.
Cool.
I'm gonna be getting the Death Eater thing here and cover my entire forearm with it. Very, very similar styles. So I plan on doing Real Men Talk Shit vertically.
Mm-hmm.
So Real Men Talk Shit. Mm-hmm. And then it's going to be like a hard line, and then it's going to be like a design of some kind. And it's going to be the same thing with the blues and reds and stuff like that. Right. And it should be pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it.
I am too. It's probably going to turn out like shit, but you know what the fuck? It is what it is.
Hey man, nothing turns out great when you have that attitude going into it. You gotta change your.
I gotta get that ego up. That's what I fucking need. I need some ego chows, man.
Yeah, you need to assess your value, man. You've got plenty of it. Stop limiting yourself.
So how the fuck has everything been, man? Because I know you haven't been on here in a while. And last time we fucking talked this shit for fucking ever. I think I remember being yelled at to get the fuck off the podcast because we talked too long.
Oh,
If I remember correctly, I remember the baby either shitting or throwing up everywhere, and it's like you have to get off right now because we have problems going on.
My friend Keith had this. My friend Keith had this video that he had on YouTube, like when YouTube was first a thing. And he said on the video, whoever put a weight limit on giant trampolines put a fun limit on my life. It's like anybody. That's what I thought of when he said that you got yelled at to get off. I'm like, oh, someone's trying to put a fun limit on your life.
Exactly. I'm just shooting the shit, man. Come on. I think also on top of having to deal with the baby either throwing up or shitting, I just ate Chinese food right before we went live.
Oh.
So I was sick as a fucking dog for like half the show. And I'm sitting there just holding it in and going. Like that's where this oil came from because it's obviously from Chinese food. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to keep going and come up with different things.
Sure. Chinese food
through the entire fucking thing.
Famously oily Chinese food, not motor oil Chinese food.
Well, it's like that shitty boy band song from 2000. Chinese food makes me sick.
Oh, okay.
You know, the normal things.
Yeah. Scooby snacks.
Exactly. So how's the wrestling thing going, man?
Well, honestly, man, I just made my return to a company that I hadn't been there in 4 years.
Congrats.
So I just made my return. And so May 1st, I'm doing another show. It's called DCW, Dynamite Championship Wrestling, DCWProWrestling.com. And it's like I'm back to stake the claim that the company's only been crappy since I've been gone. And I'm trying to make it better.
Exactly. Anytime that I leave a product, it's bad.
Right,
Anytime I come back, it gets better. I've noticed when I leave podcasts, they either don't release episodes or they fail. And I am okay with that. I'm okay with 100% success rate as long as I'm on this screen. The podcast is good. When I leave those podcasts, all of a sudden those podcasts are bad. I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that because obviously I was the driving force of them. This show, other shows I've been on, every single time they failed when I'm not on them.
Right. Like any wrestling companies or comedy shows or anything like that I go and do. If they stop using me or if I stop going there, then they stop existing to me. And it's funny that they stop existing to me. And then sometimes it'll line up where they'll actually shut down too.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, well, that's where you messed up. If you had me around, you'd still have a place to work.
It's crazy, man. Okay. So I'm going to talk some shit because obviously they're not going to fucking answer me. They already haven't. So fuck it.
That's the name of your
show. Real
show.
Men Talk Shit, man. So I was on this podcast, Awkward Fist Bump Productions, with Mark from 60 Days In. He's a good fucking dude. I'm not going to talk shit about him. I'm going to talk about shit in general. I was a co-host of that podcast. I helped build that podcast. I made the podcast what it was. Mm-hmm. I gave them everything on a silver platter. Hey, you're from TV. You should have at least 60K. There is zero problems here. Just do the little bit of work. I will do it. Let's just work together. I say fucking shit. I'm sorry I'm in New Yorker, but I say fucking shit. So,
you infamously got a potty mouth.
Just a little bit,
Yeah.
Exactly. But you knew it beforehand. My podcast is Real Men Talk Shit.
There's a curse word right in the name of the show.
Exactly. If you're not okay with it, say it from the beginning.
Right.
Let me move this fucking camera so that way you don't see my ugly ass fucking printer. So they're like, hey, we can't work with you anymore. We don't want you on the podcast anymore. I was like, do you want me on your show? The show I helped build, the show that I gave you guys all of the fucking tools to, do something with. The only thing you had to do was be you. Like, pull it away from prison. Not everything's about prison. Come on, guys. Not every story has to be prison. Not every guest has to be prison. Just let it be. Talk. That's all you got to do. So they did 2 episodes after I left. 2.
Well, it's sometimes I think, and I'm not going to attempt to talk about these people because I don't know anything about them. I don't know the show, but I have to say sometimes people need like a motivator, somebody who's like, yeah, let's do this. Come on, let's go. And when they get rid of their motivator, then they quit. Then they stop putting out the stuff that they were putting out previous.
It's so nice to have that person to balance off of. And I don't think anybody genuinely understands that unless you really are that self-motivated person. When you have somebody that just balances off you perfectly and just bounces back and forth, it's one of the greatest fucking feelings in the world, especially in a business. It's like, we were having business calls once a week of, hey, what can we do to make this thing grow? We got a YouTube channel up to 2K in a month. Like, I knew what the fuck I was doing. I just wasn't on TV, which is why this show hasn't taken off as crazily as it could have. I've had fucking amazing guests. I've had amazing shows. One of these shows is going to fucking blow up. I've had episodes that have 2,000 fucking likes on them. Like, it's happened. It's going to come. I fucking know it. So it's crazy when you have the keys to what the fuck you're saying you want. Don't fucking put in the effort.
Well, you can't want it, and you can't want it for them. They've got to want it for themselves.
No, but supposedly when you come to me and say, hey, I want this, how do we accomplish this?
Then,
if I want it more than you, what the fuck are we doing?
So if I come to you and I ask for advice, I better listen to that advice that I'm coming to you for.
I don't expect you to follow it 100%. But at the same time, if you're asking me to be a business partner, you're not paying me, and then tell me to leave, and then your business fails, who really was the person that was pushing the business forward? Just because your name's on it doesn't mean that you're the person that's pushing it. I almost had a heart attack because I didn't think I pressed record, but it says it's recording.
Yeah, I saw it.
I'm sure you just saw the shock just go over my face. I was like, wait, it says record. Oh, fuck. It says pause and stop. I'm okay.
Yeah, okay. You had a crisis.
I did.
Crisis averted.
It's been too long. It's been like a month since I recorded an episode, and the last one was fucking great. And this one's going to be fucking great too.
With my podcast, my podcast Evolving with Cory Kastle, I stopped recording like I was almost getting to the point where I was like recording like 2 a week. And sometimes I get kind of entombed with like the amount of episodes that I've backlogged. And at this point I'm up, I think my podcast, as far as like what comes out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, when that comes out every Monday, but I have one scheduled to come out until August at this point.
Yeah, and I think when we did our episode, you're like, yeah, I have them scheduled until December. And it was like September or October. And you're like, I was going to have you on, but there's just not enough time in the day.
Well, I mean, I have them all available on my YouTube. So if people were to subscribe to my YouTube channel, it'd be youtube.com/Cory Kastle, CoryKastle. And I think I just I put my 239th episode up on there a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
So check them suckers out.
Yeah, go fucking check out Cory Kastle. Drop them a fucking sub. And tell them real men talk shit.
Yeah, tell them all.
Exactly. So since you've been gone, we released a shirt for being banned from Facebook. That was absolutely fucking awesome.
You released a shirt?
Yeah, I released a shirt and a sweatshirt that had the Facebook logo flipped upside down and flipped into a B because we were banned, and banned written in the Facebook circle. because I posted a picture that said that Mark Zuckerberg was as bad of a silencer as a silencer I put on my M4. Got muted for 3 fucking weeks. I couldn't post on my own fucking page. What the fuck is that?
Well, it seems like he might have been doing you a favor then. I mean, that's
just proved my point there, buddy. Good job.
Facebook's kind of toxic sometimes, especially when you're going through stuff. Especially when you're not sure of what your situations are. I mean, going through things and being depressed and stuff. Facebook doesn't make any of that any better. So if they muted you for 3 weeks, take that as a very welcome vacation.
Yeah, it was a forced fucking vacation.
Right.
I was supposed to release an episode on my birthday. I was running a giveaway from December 14th, which is the day I attempted suicide, to my birthday, as in like, hey, still fucking here. I'm still going.
Right.
I was giving away shit. I was going to give away hoodies and stuff like that, and just try and be super, super interactive. Instead of running ads on all those episodes, I was running giveaways for all the fans and stuff like that to be able to actually get things instead of just, pay the bills, guys.
Right.
I thought that was super, super kind of like, hey, that's a good thing to do.
Right.
And then they banned me until my birthday from like January fucking, I think it was like January 2nd to my birthday, which is January 24th. And I think my ban came up the 25th. I'm like, what the fuck do I do?
Just own it, man.
Because
just own it.
Facebook interaction for some reason works so much fucking nicer than YouTube. Just getting somebody to click on it is so much easier on Facebook. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah, it's a strange thing, and like what I always say it on my podcast, where I say the effort that it takes for people to interact is it's a lot to ask for. You're really competing with everything, and there are so many things that have everyone's attention all the time that like it's tough to even ever be bored. People are always watching something, listening to something. It's to get somebody's attention for any more than a couple of minutes is really tough. So you've got to be kind of offering something. So if you're doing some sort of giveaway, that's great. With me, I hope that anything I ever talk about on the shows or something, if people go, oh, those are kind of conversations that I'd like to have, or those are ways that I should look at my life, or those are tips or tricks that could help me with this thing that I've got to cope with.
Exactly.
And maybe I'm inspired. I'm hoping that's what they get out of it. That would then have them make the effort to hit the subscribe button or hit the like button, leave a comment or something, because I feel like such a disingenuous piece of crap to be like, well, make sure you hit the like and subscribe and follow. Make sure you follow me on it. Like, I don't want to do all those plugs. It's like, all I want to do is make sure I have the kind of conversations that people would want to listen to, because I want to make sure that I'm having the kind of talks on my show that I'd want to listen to.
Exactly. When I'm sitting here having a conversation, or when I'm listening to a podcast, I put myself in there. Like, I want to be that third wheel that's on the other side of the fucking screen that's like answering the fucking questions. I want to be able to have that conversation, whether that's fucking psychotic or not. Like that.
Well, like, do you listen to, like, there's like a morning show in Philly that's Preston and Steve, right? So they'll be talking about a topic, and then they'll just have random listeners call in and tell their fun stories. I mean, that's kind of what the world's programmed already to do. So if I'm having a conversation with you on the podcast, and instead of it being live and people wanting to call in, leave a comment below and tell your side of the story. Or I always want
to do live.
I always say, if you want, reach out to me. I'm not tough to get a hold of. I'm Cory Kastle on all the platforms. CORYKASTLE. Follow me, DM me. I'll be your friend. I'm not
fucking dude.
I'm not a fake person. I'm absolutely me and genuine. Anybody talks to me about some stuff, and this is another thing, man. Like, I want to make sure I say to you again, I probably said this to you last time, but I want to say it again. If you ever feel like you just need a friend, man, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm here for you.
Definitely, man. Same for you. Like, it's absolutely crazy. And the past couple episodes have been fucking huge. It's like that episode that I released on December 14th, I've been offered a TED Talk for it, which is fucking insane.
Wow.
So, like, I've been working on that. And news, there you go, guys. I dropped the news. I haven't put in the fucking work because I'm a lazy piece of shit. But that's what me and Casey were talking about last episode was, hey, I was offered a fucking TED Talk because of, the struggles I went through as a kid. So super, super interesting things are fucking happening. It's just sometimes things don't fucking line up. Things don't fucking work. And
they're going to have their fingers on that 5-second delay.
Yeah.
Real hard for your TED Talk, huh?
Hey, my friend who got a TED Talk, that is the one who's helping me get it, is like, he's talking about fucking suicide. He's talking about putting a gun in his mouth and saying, hey, I want to taste lead. Like, super, super in-depth things. So yes, although fucking shit probably shouldn't be said, at the same time, the intricacies of actual thought and the intricacies of actually being able to help somebody by telling your story and telling the things that could be going through your head are actually able to happen there, which is really, really fucking nice. And I guarantee you, if I have a black and red background back here that says TED Talk and TEDx, how many people are actually going to click onto this video and actually listen and hang out for a little bit just to hear what the fuck I have to say?
Dude, it's a total dream of mine. I'd like to merge together my expertise in pro wrestling and some of my experience in stand-up comedy with some of my wisdom that comes from being a survivor and going and having the broken home, the gay mom, the gay brother, gay sister, like the journey that's so uniquely my journey. I'd want to make, and that's why I make it goal to make sure that there are takeaways from my stand-up sets that are stuff that can make you think of me every time you think of that.
Yeah, you have that little bit of mental gymnastics in there. The second somebody puts in 2 seconds worth of thought into it, It's like, hey, I'm going to slap you in the face with that.
I'm like, oh man, I saw this guy do stand-up comedy at this bookstore or something like, and in that he said this. And I'm hoping that each one of those things, if the guy's like, oh, I saw this guy do stand-up, but he's also a pro wrestler. Oh, I should check out his wrestling. Oh, he also has a podcast. Oh, I'm going to check out his podcast. Exactly. Oh, in his podcast, he talks about how he's in movies and stuff. Let me check out his movies. And then it all goes full circle. Every single thing I do serves every other thing I do. And I'd hope that everything I say serves for an impression, a lasting impression for someone to take with them. And I say, I think it was a Dane Cook joke when he would say, he's like, take it home, chew on it.
Yep.
So I always say, treat this thought like it's a piece of gum, just chew on it for a while.
Sadly, that was the first comedian I actually like clicked with.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people think that like he's a piece of shit now because of like his life choices and stuff. And I'm like, his, what is it? Rough Around the Edges or Inner Circle or the fucking one where he's in the circle in the middle
Vicious
of the fucking
Circle.
There you go. I'm partially retarded.
That's okay.
And
man, you do so much self-deprecation, and maybe there's something you got to look at there, man. You gotta see yourself as something better than what you keep describing yourself as. I get that it's endearing, and I get that it's like comedy and it's a mechanism, but like for sure you're gonna start subconsciously thinking that you're an idiot and that you're.
Have you ever actually had those thoughts? Like question yourself if
all
you're
the time.
Actually extremely intelligent.
Yeah.
because like from a kid, I was told that I was extremely gifted, that they were contemplating skipping me ahead in grades because I was super, super bored and super not able to concentrate. And they're like, let's just push him ahead. They didn't end up doing it because, when a kid's bored, he doesn't fucking do his work and not really give a fuck.
Mhm.
So, like, I'm extremely intelligent. So when I say I'm a fucking retard, I understand that I'm making a joke.
Mhm.
Like, I understand there's some people that that's going to rub the wrong way. And
Mhm.
if it rubs you the wrong way, I'm sorry. I'm actually extremely intelligent. And I've been surrounded by those people, which is why I'm able to make those jokes and feel
Mhm.
okay enough to make those jokes. But intelligence is the one thing that I don't question.
Right.
I may feel negative about myself. I may be fucking depressed. I may be anxious as fuck. I may feel absolutely fucking horrible at the precise moment. But that, like, my intelligence isn't one of those things that I question. I overthink things. I don't underthink things. And so
Right.
many people will just not really put those two things together.
Well, I would hope that you would just you would just not convince yourself that you're not as valuable as you are. So being intelligent and saying you're intelligent is one thing, but like believing what your worth is not really the same in
No,
my
it's
brain.
definitely not. It's
So
definitely not.
right.
When you're looking at your worth, you're looking at everything you do. You're looking at everything that you add to the world. And when you're down, especially, that worth that you bring to the world might look extremely different than it does tomorrow. When
But
you're
also like I have to mention also you're raising kids.
Mhm.
So don't I would hope I honestly that they wouldn't pick up that habit as well
No,
to
no, I
then
am completely different to them, which is awesome because it's like it's like a pseudo character almost. I'm
Mhm.
like the more exaggerated version of me. Like I I have those intelligent conversations with my kids, which is absolutely awesome. My 10-month-old sits there and says full words.
Mhm.
Like says daddy, not dada.
Mhm.
She'll say hungry. She'll say I love you. And babies aren't supposed to fucking do that.
No, dude, that it's really advanced. That's amazing. When my sister was speaking full words when she was 8 months, and she was like up and walking by like 9 months. Like she was really advanced
Yeah.
because she looked at the influence that she had. There was like there was me, my older sister, and my older brother who were around her all the time, and she just wanted
Yep.
to like keep up and wanted to converse. I mean, I'm 11 years older than her, so she was like very much like, "Whoop,
Yeah.
gotta keep on moving, gotta keep up with these kids." So,
Exactly. Her doctor looked at me last time. He's super, super intelligent guy. I've never had a doctor for kids like this. He looks at me, he's like, Zach, you wanna know what's fucking amazing? And he said fuck too, because he'll just sit there and talk to me like a normal person, which is fucking awesome. I love that shit. Like if you can talk to me like I'm a person and
well,
understand that I'm actually an intelligent person and you don't have to go into things unless I ask you or question you on something. He's like, we just had a baby, him and his wife. And he's like, your daughter is kind of like the benchmark for where we want our kid. And he's like, and your baby was premature and she was in the NICU and she's ahead of every other kid that we fucking see.
wow,
And I was like,
well,
I'm doing something right.
right, you must be.
We're doing
That's
something
awesome.
right.
Yeah.
She's the absolute sweetest thing in the fucking world. Literally, if she sees me down or she sees me not doing okay, she'll just sit there and blow kisses to me and grab me by the cheeks and give me kisses, and it's super, super fucking sweet. I fucking love it. It's the greatest feeling in the fucking world, just knowing that somebody like undoubtedly is like, Daddy,
Mhm.
just you. That's all I want, just you.
Yeah. That's great, man. That's
Yeah.
great. So, so you were in like advanced classes and stuff like that in school?
In high school, I took like 10 history classes, 8 art classes. I took AP stats, like as many weird, more extreme courses as I could. Just having OCD and ADD, made it so that way my mind worked extremely fast. So I also have what some people call an eidetic memory or photographic memory, or like number sequences, things like that are very, very easy for me to remember. How to do things is very, very easy for me to remember. So the more extreme or more confusing things are easier for me to figure out how to do. So like if I'm sitting here having a conversation with you, I could be sitting here texting somebody else, I could be sitting here playing a game and still remember 85% of our conversation. Where a lot of people, even sitting there looking you dead in the face, they're not going to remember what you said 2 days from now.
Right. It's cool. I mean, but for sure, why do other stuff when you can have cool chats with people?
Because I can't concentrate. Like, and I don't think anybody thoroughly understands that. Is there some people that just can't fucking concentrate enough?
Oh, me too, man. I'm so there. Like I also have ADD pretty hard. Like I was in the other end of things. I was like in the special classes with the very challenged kids.
Yeah.
Because of that for me. And I have a hard time focusing, but I feel like if it's something that's if it feels like it's fueling, if it's fueling who I want to be, or if it's fueling the kind of person, the kind of word, the kind of conversation, the kind of thoughts that I want to have, it's weird. Like I just had a conversation the other night and I was talking about like I like took a nap, but it was not a long nap. And I was like, yeah, but I always feel like I got to be up and moving. I got to do something else. Like there's always life to be lived. There's always things to do. There's always things to accomplish. So I think that like getting distracted or not being able to concentrate to me is kind of like naps.
I have 3 hours of sleep. I'm running on 3 hours of sleep right now. Mm-hmm. I've been up since 7 o'clock this morning. I went to bed around 3:30.
Well, you need to fix your sleep there, pal.
Hey, when you have a baby who's up and just laying there and going, you can only do so much. Like,
right.
And take care of the house, take care of the stuff you got to do. It's just, you're in such a box of having what time you're able to sleep and what time you're able to do things. Right. And it's now, hey, now it's time to build. Now it's time to get the stuff done that you want to get done. Mm-hmm. And now I have free time to be able to do that. So it's like, I'm not fucking going to sleep yet. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to edit this podcast afterwards so it can go up on Wednesday. I'm going to sit here and start working on that art and get that shit done.
Well, how did the quarantine, how did COVID and shutdowns and all that stuff, how did that affect your creative process? I mean, as far as also like what you were doing for work, could you work from home?
No, I've been out of work because of neck surgery since 2018, 2019. It's almost been 3 years.
Right.
I had neck surgery not last December, the December before. So I'd be coming up on my workers' comp court case right now if I didn't settle and deal with all that stuff. But because I settled and everything else, that stuff's done. Now I can start trying to find work and do that stuff. But because my daughter was born premature, me and my wife tried to figure out exactly what we needed to do in order to keep her safe because her problem was her lungs. Mm-hmm. So at what point was it, hey, we need to do this or we need to do that? Or is it, hey, let's just accept right now things aren't going to be okay enough to be able for both of us to be working. We'll get it figured out and be able to take care of it in whatever way we have to. You good?
Yeah.
So no, I wasn't able to work. And creative process wise, it wasn't as difficult as many people made it seem. It was, hey, there's still school. At least this year, there's been school all year, other than when my kids had quarantined because of COVID and that stuff. So it was, hey, I can kind of be creative and do the things that I want to do, which is nice.
What are your kids' ages?
10 and 8.
10 and 8?
Yeah.
And then the baby?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have 3 kids.
Yep.
Okay. The youngest is a girl.
Nope. Yes. No. Baby is girl, and then boy in the middle, and oldest is a girl.
Okay. All right. All right. What is their relationship with each other? They get along really well?
Yeah, it's actually really surprising. Me and my wife always thought that because the baby was born so much younger than the other two, that they would have a problem bonding. They would have a problem connecting because, hey, they're super close in age
Mhm.
because they were born about a year and a half, year and 8 months apart.
Right.
So we're like, they're going to be close. They're going to be as close as they possibly can be, being different sexes. They're going to be super, super close unless one of them turns out to be an ass.
Mhm.
We're like, hey, let's hope that things work out when we have this baby with all three of them because who knows exactly what's going to happen. I have to turn down this ring light. I apologize. Uh, but we were like, what exactly is going to happen? I have no idea. But it's the craziest thing to watch my daughter with her. It's the craziest thing to watch my son with her because they just run up to her and start playing with her. And they just have huge smiles on their face.
Well, like a baby for children. I'm speaking sort of as a experience. Like when
Yeah.
I was 11 when my sister was born, and I have other young siblings that my dad had with
Gotcha.
other women. But it was like when there's a kid, it's kind of like a little puppy, you
Yeah.
know. So it's kind of fun, and it's so innocent. So
Well, we expected the screaming and the crying and stuff like that to be kind of affect that. Like we expected it
peace.
to affect them,
Right.
and affect their sleep and affect what they're able to do and how interactive they're going to be. And they did fucking fantastic. It was,
Mhm.
Daddy, are you okay? Do you need anything? Do you need a drink? Like if I was taking care of her and if my wife was up with her, it was the same thing. And like, hey, everybody's kind of washing each other's back and it worked out fucking fantastic
Great, dude.
because it was like there was a lot of fucking shit going on. My wife had a second surgery after the baby was born. So some of that time it was me by myself because she had surgery and it was really hard.
Right.
But it is what it is.
You got to take on a role there.
You
At
gotta
that.
you gotta keep going. You gotta
Right.
keep doing it. Like it,
Mhm.
it don't matter. It doesn't stop just because you can't do it right this second. It doesn't stop having to be done. You just gotta keep going.
Mhm.
And boy, does OCD and ADD really, really fucking aid that shit because your mind's just going.
Yeah. So
It's the absolute. It's the greatest fucking superpower to have when you're a parent and you're able to not concentrate on fucking anything because your mind just keeps going. And you're like, I have to be up anyway. Why not just let it go?
do the older ones ever talk to you about the kind of stuff they want to do with their lives?
Uh, my oldest is starting to get to that point, and the youngest is still, I want to be a pop star. I want to play video games. I want to be a YouTuber,
Mhm.
which is great. Like, hey, if you're able to fucking do that shit,
Right. If you can find
do it.
your value in that, if you can monetize that somehow,
Exactly.
absolutely. Dude, meet that goal real young, and then you've got so many other goals you can accomplish beyond that.
I started YouTube in 2010.
Mhm.
2000, it was either 2009 or 2010. I had my digital camera faced at my screen where I was playing Call of Duty Black Ops on the Wii, and I was getting like 1,000 fucking views a video,
Mhm.
and this fucking account just randomly gets deleted. I was like, if my parents pushed me and bought me the things to do so, where could I have been?
Right. You want to be. I think anybody, wrong or right, wants to be seen and heard and acknowledged and facilitated with, like if you can facilitate the middle kid, you
Yeah.
can absolutely like help him along with that, especially knowing that like he's got a dad who's got a podcast and got the kind of foot in the door there.
Understands algorithms because
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
fuck my life, man. I swear, if I sat there and just took 4 hours and fucking learned it, I probably could get it. pretty
Right.
easily.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, it's, I think a lot of it like boils down to what are sensations
Yeah.
and, trends. So we just embrace every one of those trends
Yeah.
while trying to stay sincere with who you actually are, which is the toughest part.
Here, 8-year-old, we're going to turn the blood off on Call of Duty. We're going to let you play. Just don't say any bad words, please. We'll put it on YouTube, kids. You'll have millions of views, and then we will be able to live in whatever house we want to live in, and we'll have your entire life made.
You're trying to exploit your 8-year-old.
Hey, there is no way in hell that Ryan toy review kid, his parents are not taking at least half of that money. There's no fucking way. I saw this meme the other day, and it said, it's the giant big kid with his hand over top of the little kid playing chess. You know what meme I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And the little kid's sitting there, and it has over top of his head, I'm a doctor. I went to school for 10 years, and I make $400K a year. Mm-hmm. And the big kid says, I'm an 8-year-old that's made $40 million in the past year off of YouTube, and now I have no idea what I'm doing with my life.
Right.
I was like, yeah.
So, I mean, you can absolutely help each other in that whole thing, and you're creative, and
it's more or less not wanting him to feel exploited when he gets older.
Right.
Not wanting him to feel like he was exposed to too much too soon. Like, I want his maturity and mentality to be there before I allow him to do things, because both of them have asked, which is awesome. Like, being somebody who wants a podcast to work out, your kids being like, that would be really cool to do that, is fucking awesome.
Dude,
like, it sounds stupid, but it's fucking cool.
What if it was just just do an episode of your podcast, right? But like, don't say shit in it. Just say real people talking poo poo or whatever, and have like your kids interview you so they can listen back to that. Like, imagine being able to listen to an interview you had with your dad when you were like,
I didn't have one.
8. No, me either. But I'm just saying, like, a parent, but imagine being able to have that, like, be able to go back and listen to that. Like, if you were to go, hey, I'm just going to sit you down on this microphone and just start asking me questions, and I'll ask you questions, and we'll see where we are. It's kind of a little check-in, and then have it be like, dude, did you ever see that movie? What was the Ethan Hawke movie where it was like they filmed it with like the kid growing up in real time? They kept going back and filming scenes from, but it's like, if you do like a kind of like a podcast series where you check in like once a year with the kids, and then release them all as one episode in like 10 years or something. That would be so cool for them to have, for them to be able to go back and listen to, for show.
Oh, that's actually a super, super fucking cool idea. In all honesty, like, there's not many things that I'm like, didn't think about that one. I actually didn't think about that one. That's actually a really, really cool idea.
Well, I'm very full of super cool ideas, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Keep paying attention.
Hey, that's my fucking idea. We're going to sit here and nobody else is going to steal that shit.
No, obviously, nobody else who was going to do that would have the same product as you.
Oh, I know.
So there would be no competition. Absolutely. Have these on the record conversations with people who you think it's going to be cool for them to listen back to it when maybe you're not around anymore, or maybe, maybe your relationships changed and it's not as tight as it was. And then they'll listen back and they're like, oh man, why am I tripping? You know what I mean? It can be helpful in so many therapeutic ways.
Just being able to actually speak and have a conversation with somebody is the most therapeutic fucking thing in the world. It's the thing that most people need and are afraid to receive. And it's the greatest fucking feeling just sitting here chilling, hanging out, talking, and just shooting the shit. And it doesn't even fucking matter. It doesn't even fucking matter what the fuck you put on the fucking timeline to say, hey, this is what we're going to talk about. Who the fuck knows if that's what you're going to talk about or not?
Right.
Who the hell knows?
All this trying to overproduce things, and all this trying to script things and format them is like, you're going to drive yourself crazy when you don't live up to the expectations that you built it up in your head to be. And
some of those people in those Facebook groups are like, hey, can you come voice this part of this podcast? Voice a part of a fucking podcast? You mean on an audiobook? Because that's what it is. Right. If you're writing down word for word what you want me to say, that is an audiobook. That is not a podcast. And if you're releasing it as a podcast, you're going to have a problem. I think your SEO is fucked. That's exactly what people want to hear about. They want to hear about SEO.
Oh, yeah. They were like, what's that? Search engine optimization, huh?
How do I find something on Google? It's done for you. Don't worry about it. I promise you. Haven't put hours into it.
Right. Yeah, man. I've definitely gonna consider myself guilty of not mastering the algorithms. But the same as you were saying, like, well, I'm gonna and if you've ever listened to my podcast, I start every episode with the little drum.
Yep.
And that is about the consistency. So that goes when you were talking about like, oh, people are going to find it. People are going to like, I'm going to continuously beat my drum the way I beat it. And that drum meeting the words that I'm speaking.
It's okay. I just got you to say beat it, and I'm sure as hell going to clip that. I'm going to keep beating it. Yep. Got you, bud. Don't worry about it. That's going to be the clip that we promote the entire show with. Talk about Blue Chew, and then it's going to skip, and it's going to be like, and I just beat it.
That might be a waste of your Blue Chew. That might be a big waste of your Blue Chew.
If you're paying $15 to beat it, I feel absolutely sorry for you.
Well, I mean, you pay for it one way or the other, probably.
That's one expensive fucking beating it session. And you're going to be wasting a lot of time because it just doesn't fucking go away.
I'm still curious about it. I mean, I just don't think I need it.
Hit me up when we're off of camera. I'll give you some stories.
Okay.
Because it was damn. So let's go back to some more PG stuff. Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. Holy fucking God.
Yeah, I don't know who's the Askren guy? Is he a fighter?
He was from the UFC. Uh-huh. So he was undefeated when he went into the UFC, and I believe he went 0-2 or 0-3 and retired. He was like the number one free agent, like you are for wrestling. And they're like, well, he's undefeated. We'll bring him in. I guess they traded him for somebody else and brought him in. Mm-hmm. And then remember the clip of Jorge Masvidal running and jumping and knee kicking somebody? Mm-hmm. That was Ben Askren.
Okay.
So Jake Paul essentially did that to his face with his fists because he was, you remember the vaudevillains from WWE? How they did that, like that corny fist fighting. So like Ben was doing
the Fighting Irish stance.
Yeah. So Ben was doing that the entire fight, and he wasn't really protecting himself with his backhand. So Jake hit him with like 4 punches right to the jaw all at the same time. Just comboed him and like he just, it wasn't even as extreme as the Nate Robinson fight, but he just dropped. It is really, really interesting to see somebody who was pushed as a YouTuber, pushed as a Disney star, actually doing something and getting shit on because he's succeeding at it.
Wait, he was a Disney star?
Yes, he was on Disney Channel.
What show?
Fuck, man. You're making me do work. I'm just talking shit here.
Don't make me work.
Oh, fuck, man. It just autofilled to knockout video. Ben Askren. Fuck my life. What Disney show? Disney show. He was on Biz Aardvark. Holy fuck it. How the fuck do you pronounce that? Here. You tell me how to pronounce this. Do you have your phone with you? Or am I just going to send this to nothing?
No, I have my phone right here.
Okay. Here you go. You tell me how to fucking pronounce that shit because I have no fucking idea. It's the top part of the webpage. But yeah, so he was on a fucking Disney show that had a couple seasons, and I don't understand how he turned that into a huge ass fucking YouTube career, but that's fucking impressive.
Bizarre.
Yeah, it's fucking some weird ass shit, man.
Yeah,
a whole bunch of different letters there that don't fucking go together.
It's like an aardvark, but with bizarre in front of it.
Yeah, exactly. But those letters don't fucking go together.
Never heard of that show.
Nope.
But I mean, I'm also too old.
I am too old as well.
I'm not the key demographic.
It's weird when I think about this shit, and I'm like, Demi Lovato is older than I am, but she supposedly was supposed to play somebody who was about my age. So it's really, really fucking weird when shows are too young for me.
How old is Demi Lovato?
Let's see.
She was just on Rogan.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
I won't watch that episode. She's 28, so she is 2 years older than me. She's about to turn 29 in August. But yeah, she was supposed to play somebody who's like my age. But her whole I'm California sober shit. And when DMX passed away, her whole, well, that could have been me because I had a heart attack or a stroke or whatever the fuck she said. Mm-hmm. That rubbed me the fucking wrong way. It's like
she was trying to steal.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck's your point? Who gives a fuck right this second? Mm-hmm. Another person overdosed. You didn't. You've overdosed countless times already, and you're sitting here bitching again. I actually had an argument with one of the leading fucking addiction people on Facebook. Had a podcast with him on Awkward Fist Pump Productions. I might actually just fucking download that episode, re-fucking intro it, and do it as my episode. Just say fuck it, because, I produced the fucking episode.
Right.
And
Put it, man.
Exactly. Fuck it, man. It's not fucking doing anything right now anyway. Mm-hmm. Because I was super, super fucking in depth. And I was like, yeah, so why are we giving out fucking naloxone? What the fuck is the basic name of it? Narcan. Why the fuck are we giving out Narcan to random fucking people who are using drugs? They want the drug effects.
Right.
Let them do their choices.
So it doesn't kill them?
Yeah. People are going to die in this situation, regardless if you give it to them or not. And I asked him, I was like, so what are we doing why are we giving them clean needles? Why are we enabling them in those situations instead of forcing them to go through the steps to get help? We're enabling the decisions that they're making. We're enabling the choices that they're going through and choosing to do, but yet we're not pushing them towards the right way. We're just kind of enabling their choices. And he's like, well, would you rather them die on the street or would you rather them have a chance at getting help? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't really know. Yes, you want the humanity of the person. You want the person to be alive. You want the person to be healthy. But at the same time, if they're making the decisions for themselves, how can you just let them be and let them choose their own choices?
So, I think. So I think in your brain, you're kind of favoring towards natural selection on it.
I don't know. It's weird.
Let the
things weed out the way that it needs to weed out.
Yeah. But at the same time, those people's bad decisions aren't just affecting those people. So if that person gets sick, if they get AIDS or something, then they're going to go give AIDS to somebody else who isn't in that world.
Yeah.
So
No, I can see the outspread of where there would be problems. Like, I'm not saying like, hey, I don't get it. I'm saying like, I don't understand why in these situations we're enabling these people who made bad choices, have become homeless, and all of those choices that inhibit all of that. And now we're enabling them to keep continually making those choices. It's kind of a weird catch 22. There's a lot of things that go on around that entire situation.
It's kind of like the parents that are like, "Hey, I know you're gonna drink. I'd rather you drink at home with me.
Come do drugs with me, son,
Right.
man." Oh. The amount of fucking alcohol I saw as a fucking teenager, and I never drank a drop of it until I moved out on my own.
Well, I mean, what was your? I know you said you didn't have a dad. You were raised by a single mom.
Yes, and a stepdad for most of my life. But
What were they like? Was that a cool? Were they cool parents? Like, did they do anything that like you still like carry shit from? Like, or you forgive them as doing the best they could do, and they when it comes to that sort of thing, like, do you carry any kind of resentment for being raised the wrong way?
I did.
But
And up until recently, um me and my mom had a complete disconnect because of major fucking problems that I've already laid out. So I'll tell it and fast forward. She was fucking up, making bad life decisions, and it was in front of my kids. So I lost my shit because it's like, hey, can't have this going on. There's problems here.
yeah.
Like, you're a major part of my kids' lives. Um, can't have this.
Mhm.
Hold on one second. Answering about medication for the baby. Um, so it was a lot of there's a lot of resentment there of, hey, you kept fucking up. You kept not being a parent. You kept not paying the bills. So that way we had problems in our household. And now you're struggling with understanding that you have to be held accountable for that stuff.
Mhm.
I have a voice, and I'm going to say the things that I experienced. I'm going to say how they affected me because, hey, in the grand scheme of things, if I can help one fucking person with my voice,
Mhm.
let alone hundreds or thousands or hundreds of thousands if this ever blows up at any point,
I was like, I have a microphone and you don't, so you will listen to every damn word I have to say.
that is more important than my humility. That is more important than her humility. That is more important than anything. Because if a person doesn't fall into the same bout of depression I did and attempt because they didn't feel like they were worth it because, their parents kept fucking up, then that is more important to me than my humility based off of how bad my childhood was. And my childhood wasn't even as bad as some people that were beat all the time.
Right.
My parents were just extremely, extremely negligent with money. My parents were just extremely negligent and didn't really pay any mind or attention. And shit got fucked up. Literally, before I moved to where I graduated high school, my best friend's brother a few years ago was convicted of murder. Like, super, super integrated in like very, very dark culture and like a small town. But it was the people that surrounded me lived like a city, not necessarily a small town in upstate New York.
Mhm.
It was, yeah, we're in the ghetto fucking part of town. You're lucky if your entire roof doesn't leak. You're lucky if your walls don't have fucking bugs in them. You're lucky if you have food in the fridge. And it does. You grow resentment. You grow that like anger. Like, why couldn't you fucking do better?
Mhm.
And since I've reconnected with my mom, I've tried to fix those problems. I've told her exactly how I felt because it's like, hey, if you're going to be a part of my life, you're going to be a part of my kids' lives, you're going to be a part of my wife's life, then you're going to have to understand how the fuck I feel. And it doesn't matter if you can swallow your pride to accept it, and it doesn't matter if you can swallow your pride to apologize for it. But you're going to understand where I'm coming from, and you're going to understand how I feel because it's fucking important.
Mhm.
It's fucking important to be able to actually say how you fucking feel.
Right. Well, my approach on that sort of stuff is I have a I have no desire to hear I'm sorries from
Exactly.
people who I've already forgiven them in my head, knowing that if they had done it any differently, I wouldn't be the type of person I am now. And I'm
Yeah.
so grateful for who I am right now and the lessons that I've learned in
Mhm.
my past. I'm not holding on to some stuff that somebody else did to me that affected me in a traumatic way,
Yeah.
because I needed that trauma. I learned through that trauma. Every trauma that I've had, I've learned from it and I've
Yeah.
grown from it. So when it came to, and any conversation, it's funny too, because I recently had, I don't know how recently it was, but I didn't have really a relationship with my father that much in my life. When I did talk to him, not that long ago, he kind of like, he was kind of like, oh, I knew. He listened to everything I had to say, all the stuff that was, because he opened it up. He asked me what I thought happened with
Yeah.
him and my mom, and I was like, "Oh, you were gonna ask me what I thought happened or what I actually saw because I was there." Like you gotta,
Yeah.
like there's a little bit, there's difference here. So
Yeah.
I gave it to him in a very very harsh pill to swallow, and he was, he was crying when we were having that conversation, and then at the end of it he was like, I knew you'd grow into a good man because I knew leaving you with your mom, she'd raised you right. So it was
Mhm.
basically like you taking credit for me turning out the way I am because you left. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm sure if you need that, if that helps you sleep at night, like absolutely have that.
Exactly.
Absolutely have that, because like I'm not losing sleep. I'm not losing sleep over who I am or what our relationship's been with each other. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. And I only wish you light and love. And I hope that, you give the, I know, like I told you, I have other siblings. My dad has kids
Mhm.
with another woman, two other women. So it's like those kids need you in their life more than I ever did.
Yeah.
So I know I've got mine. I'm good. Go
Yep.
be
Go
what
do
you
what
need to.
you need to do.
Yeah,
What you needed to do when you were younger. Now you have other people that you need to do it for. Go
right.
do it for them.
Yeah, be a good dad to them kids. Which I mean, he I don't want to say he was a good dad to those kids because I don't know. But
Yeah.
when I talked to my one brother, didn't lay it out like it was very good, but at least he was there.
Fuck, man. My dad was in and out of my life for like the first 2 years. Uh, it was super complicated though. So my mom's mom and my dad's dad ended up getting married, and that moved my mom up here, and they had a family. 13 brothers and sisters total between all the people that, well, all the kids that my grandmother, my grandfather on my mom's side, and my grandfather and my grandmother from my dad's side had.
Mm-hmm.
So total 13,
It's a lot of
13
kids. Yeah.
aunts and uncles, a fucking shit ton.
Yeah.
And it came about the time that I was born, and my grandmother and my grandfather looked at my mom and they're like, "Hey, we want a kid who ties the entire family together. Me and me and your dad, well, your stepdad,
Mm-hmm.
can't have a kid. So can you?" That's where I
Okay,
came.
so you were born.
I am a stepped incest child. Yes.
Okay.
I am the porn category that everybody supposedly clicks on that nobody
Well,
wants to admit to.
let me sort of see if I can make this a little bit more relatable. My my sister is a lesbian,
Yeah.
and she's married to a woman.
Hmm.
She came to me 9-10 years ago
Yeah.
and asked me if I would donate my sperm
Yeah.
so that her daughter could have her DNA.
No, definitely. I completely get it.
So it was a proposition that way. I mean, I was absolutely willing to do it, but I didn't
Yes, but
do it.
that baby didn't grow in your sister either.
Right. did not grow with my sister.
That's so stepbrother and stepsister had me. No in vitro, no nothing.
Right.
Like just straight up relationship. Relationship fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And then he became a real big fucking piece of shit and was in and out of my life, in and out of my life. My grandfather ended up taking care of me a lot of the time.
Well, like your grandparents were
wanted
like
me.
they were like, yeah, we want a kid. So they had their son and their daughter, who are not blood related to each other in any way.
Exactly.
Have relations so that you could be brought into this planet for them as a gift.
Essentially, I was the one who pushed my grandmother to do better because she had emphysema, so she had to carry oxygen around with her at all times. She had very, very hard time. I watched her die. That's how close we were. I was with her all the time up until the day she passed away. I still have memories of the day she passed away. So like in that timeline, it was my sperm donor essentially was never there.
Right.
He was there. I think they tried after I was born for like a week and a half, and it just didn't fucking work. And he ended up becoming very, very abusive when he ended up getting weekends with me, and it just completely fell apart. It was one of the most anxiety-ridden times of my entire life. And it's made me now as one of those people that's like, hey, I'm going to be the best fucking dad I can be.
Right. Well, but Zach, you look at it this
I have zero fucking idea what I'm doing. It's just, for some reason, regardless if you've had just a mom or you've had a mom and a dad, when you feel like you need to do something, you have this level of having to fucking do it regardless of what the fuck's going on. And it's just one of the easiest things to click in your head.
Well, I mean, I like to think of it a lot, and the amount of anxiety, the anxiety-ridden time, when you look at that being like in the amount of time it was what, a year or two out of the 26 that you've had, like two years out of 26 is just 2 years. You've had so much other life. You've had so much other life, and you're going to have so much other life beyond this. And the people that your children grow up to be are going to be affected by your positive stuff.
Exactly.
By the stuff that you learned. You learned what not to expose them to.
Exactly. And that's backwards from how everybody else parents, which is super, super interesting. And when you become a parent, you'll feel the same way. Is like, you don't have a guidebook of how the fuck to do this. It's just, you have the guidebook of what fucking not to do. And that's the guidebook everybody has, because it's like, don't beat your kid. Fucking obvious.
Right. Well, you know, it's difficult, man. I mean, you're not, most people are not equipped with the sense, what you think is common sense is not that common.
Nope.
So like people beat their dogs when they bark too. Like it's like people want to treat their children like they're their pets.
Yeah.
And it's like, be obedient to me.
Yeah.
Respect me, but I'm not gonna bend over backwards to earn your respect. You're just going to respect me because I demand it.
Yeah, I had this conversation with my aunt the other day, actually. And I was like, at some point I felt like using aunt was kind of stupid. Like, I see everybody as an equal. If I actually talk and interact with you, I see you as an equal to me. You're not above me. I love you. I care about you. I feel no fucking different. But understand that I see you as a person, not somebody who's above me. And she's like, well, I see that as disrespectful. I said, well, that also comes from the time where when you were a kid, you're supposed to be seen and not heard. There's a different level there. If you sit here and have conversations with me about problems that are going on or anything like that, I see you as an equal to me because I do the same thing. If you sit here and have a conversation on a different level other than, hey, how's your mom doing? How's your kids doing? And how's your wife doing? You're an aunt then. Like, hey, you're not really fucking here. But if you're that person that's actually super fucking interactive, like, it's not fucking wrong to call your mom their first name if you're not fucking being disrespectful. It's a title. And the title of an aunt is kind of like aunt, uncle, like all that shit. It's weird. It's
Oh,
fucking
you're
weird.
thinking, yeah, it's sort of there is a mindset that treats that like it's like when I was a kid, I was named after my uncle Jimmy. My real name is James.
Yeah.
So when I if he heard me call my Aunt Terry, if he thought he heard me just call her Terry or Nancy, he just heard me call her Nancy and not Aunt Nancy, he'd be upset. He'd be like, why are you being so disrespectful? It's Aunt Terry. It's Aunt Nancy. You say, and like, well, I went specifically to my Aunt Nancy.
I'm having a conversation, man. Like, aunt's not going to come out every single time.
Right.
Uncle's not going to come out every time. It's part of a conversation. You don't sit here and say Mr. President every single time you talk to him.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't make sense. It's not being disrespectful.
Right.
You're having a genuine conversation.
It doesn't seem as practical.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So I was like, I talked to Nancy and she doesn't want to be called Aunt Nancy. She just wants me to call her Nancy. I don't know what the big deal is. And he was like, well, I mean, he was very, I get in my head all the time about like the kind of person he'd be if I had like grown up with him, because he passed away when I was like 7 or 8 years old, something like that. And I always think about the type of person he'd see me as now, and because I was named after him. So to him, obviously, names mean a lot.
Yeah.
So
especially being that old school kind of person that you're insinuating he is, it's like you're his bloodline plus.
Right. So I think about that all the time, and I think about like, I don't think he was like political, but he would totally, I think he would totally have been like a MAGA dude. Like he used to have a bumper sticker on the back of his car that said, kick ass and come home, about the troops.
Yeah.
And he had like a sticker on his window in his house that was like, it had like a revolver on it. And it said, you come in on 2 feet, leave on your back, or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I was like, oh, he's the total like Second Amendment MAGA Trump dude. Like, I wonder if that was the type of person he would be, or if he would have grown through that, if he would have grown past that sort of stuff. But I think about this all the time. Whenever I think of my uncle Jimmy used to kill bees. He was so good at killing bees. Like I said, I was only a little kid when he passed away, but whenever there'd be like a bee outside, he'd always come out with his hat, and he'd take his hat off and he'd go, foop, 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 and he'd like fill his hat with bee bodies. He would kill like 4 bees. He's like, I don't give a shit about none of you bees. Boop, boop, boop. And his hat would just be filled with all these dead bees. Like, what an impressive thing to have for me to look up to when I was 8 years old, or even younger. He died in like 92, something like that.
That's even before I was born.
Yeah. Yeah, you were 95, right?
No, 94.
Okay.
But so the interesting thing about that politically wise is normally as you get older, you get more and more conservative, whether that's because of religion or your ideas are just outdated for what the time is.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have voted for Obama the first time. I think I might have.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have voted for Obama the second time. Not because of anything else, just didn't like his policies. I didn't agree with it. And I did vote for Trump both times.
Mm-hmm.
I liked how outspoken he was. My show's called Real Men Talk Shit. Like,
right.
I am just a more obnoxious, loud, boisterous person.
Well,
I understand why people don't like him, but I also understand why I personally do. I'm more of a free speech guy. I completely understand that this microphone and this voice is the most important thing that anybody has. And if you don't sit here and want to say, hey, your voice, although yes, there are fucked up things that can come out of it, I can be hurt by it. but it doesn't fucking mean a damn thing.
Yeah, the thought process on the Donald Trump thing, I totally see it. I bet you he's probably a really good guy. I bet you if you chatted with him, like I'd probably be friends with him. Like,
probably, he seems like a cool fucking dude.
He seems like he's probably really funny, but at the same time, probably cannot relate to anybody. Cannot like you when you've been that rich and that famous for that long. Yeah. Your idea of having your finger on the pulse of like what real people go through is so far removed.
But it was super, super interesting seeing him actually understand where people were saying things and him being like, I can understand where that's a problem. And then you see Biden doing, or whoever's putting these ideas in Biden's head, we have no idea. And you see that like disconnect. I have yet to see somebody who's like, you know, we want the border completely open, other than people that are very, very, very far left. Most people want to be able to fix the problems that are here. We don't want to add more people, which are going to add more problems. We want to deal with the problems that we have. And then, yes, go ahead and let immigrants come in, because that's the right thing to do if we have the infrastructure to deal with it. I would love to continue this conversation, man, even if we sit here and record another podcast tomorrow. But I do have a phone call I have to make. So make sure to check out Blue Chew. Make sure to check out Robinhood. Don't lose out on that free money, and make sure to make your dick as hard as it possibly can be. And I think real shit's been talked. I'll see you fucking later.